Okay, hi Miss, hello. As I believe you know, I haven't been in school like for around this week. I believe you already came back to school, so this is like my proposal because I believe I couldn't present today with my group. So I don't know if it's possible. I'm going to send you this video analyzing and showing my perspective about my presentation and my topic, and it will be like my grade because I couldn't present with my group. Okay, so this is the topic that we choose is Russia versus NATO, that in Spanish it's called like the OTAN. And basically, okay, it's by Juan Jose Huitrago, Jose Alejandro, and me, Samuel Botero. Okay, so first, what is happening? First, I'm going to like read the bullet points, and then I'm going like to try to talk more about it. Okay, so first, I don't know if you can see there. There are tensions due to Ukraine wanting to join NATO. Russia does not agree with NATO and it feels threatened. Russia invades Ukraine. Okay, so first we need to know that when the Soviet Union dissolved in 1991, it was like a huge problem because what it's like now Russia, they didn't like want that the United States and basically the occidental part didn't like Russia didn't want them like in all the Europe, so they will like try basically of a scared but wanting to mark their position, and it was also like threatened because many countries that were part of the Soviet Union, such as for example in the Baltics like Latvia, Letonia, that's in Spanish, like yeah, that countries and like the Czech Republic, Poland, Hungary, all that, like for example, countries were like independent and they started like well, how do I say it, like entering the OTAN. So Russia was like, no, I couldn't like it can be happening this. So basically, when the OTAN the NATO start to have like gaining more power, Russia was like frightening, and basically their like biggest problem, they didn't like want like they start knowing like more about these countries. So basically, due that Russia didn't want it like to the OTAN gain more power and entering more in Russia because like Poland, Bulgaria, all that countries were more into Russia. So basically, when they start like with Ukraine, the problem was that 2014 was like the biggest problem because in 2014 due to protests in, for example, Ukrainian people, the Ukrainian people, and for example, other people of Europe, they start to make like protests because they, like for example, I don't know how to say it, like exiliar, or like the president of Ukraine at the time, that was like Victor, that something like that, it was like a pro-Russian person, so he was like more affiliated with the ideological perspective of Russia. But after he get out of the power, Russia started like, oh, I'm going to lose Ukraine. So they start to like having more problems, and at the 2014, Russia annexo the region of Crimea. Crimea is very important because it's like connects with the Black Sea, and basically it's very important economically for Russia because this is like the entrance from like the Black Sea is the entrance for Russia, and to the Mediterranean. So basically, for example, it promotes economical and political and military perspective to Russia because they can like put their naval army, or economically because ships with I don't know, products, food, etc. could enter more fast to Russia. So, and also because Russia wanted like to promote because there are how do I say it? Like provinces in Ukraine that are pro-Russian. For example, Donetsk and Lugansk are, they feel more Russian than Ukraine. So that's what's happening until February of 2022, because I'm going to explain it. Because on Russia, what happened? It started like it declared war on Ukraine. So basically, it was like more big because OTAN started to like entering more with the US as they like protect Ukraine. Russia was no, we need to attack. We they need to desmilitarize Ukraine. We need to protect, like they wanted Ukraine. So they start like gaining more in provinces, like to start gaining more power in provinces. Due to these many countries such as Sweden and Finland also like remark their support and enter the OTAN. So the NATO, I'm going to say OTAN, and this like for example made more furious or angry Russia because they were like no, oh, the OTAN and the US is going is in my, how do I say it? In Spanish it's called like está en el patio trasero, o sea, está acá al lado. So it's like very important this because it like start to promote more the tensions between these these two potential countries, that is the US and Russia, and also important countries such as the one in Europe, like the European Union. Okay, so who was involved or who is involved at the moment? Many countries in Europe that are part, like for example in alliances, are a part or of Russia or are part of the US and the OTAN. Also is involved Ukraine, Russia, and the OTAN, that in this case is the OTAN. OTAN is an organization of 32 members in which they promote military ways to protect the others. If one country of the OTAN is attacked, all members need to protect the country that is threatened. Okay, so why? I'm going to explain little the bullet points. So Russia wants to stop NATO expansion towards the east. Russia annexed Crimea in 2014, and money. Yeah, like as I already explained, basically Russia like didn't want more east ideologies or countries to be near Russia, and that is one of the most important things of Vladimir Putin, because he is like a person that really promotes to like separate, to divide these two political issues or ideologies, and basically all that's from United States, it's very different from him. I already say the one of Russia, and also money. This also brings a lot of positive impacts on economically, as already said, because it will promote, like for example, from Russia, sorry, to conquer Ukraine and like strengthen the economy, due that they will get total access to the Black Sea. I don't know, many things, like for example, I don't remember well, but for example it will be good ways to promote the Russian gas through all Europe. So the importance, this is like a timeline, and I'm gonna like explain it fast. So basically, major nuclear powers, I already know we're talking about Russia and United States, and also countries that are part of the OTAN and have also nuclear powers, such as the United Kingdom or France. So like this can brought a lot of instability in this part of the world, and also it's important because it shares like problems through all the world, not only Europe. European instability, it like this is kind of different because it also like damage the position of Europe, because there are countries that are allies of Russia and countries that are members of the OTAN. So it like brings support or hate and also tensions. As we know, Europe is a continent that from, I don't know, from Spain to Germany, it's very short. So for example, like all these connections can make like a deep problem through these kind of wars. Global economic security, yeah, as we know, for example, Russia is having a lot of problems now on due to the war, because it have a lot of, how do I say, like economical reports, like como, how do I say it, miss, like como bloqueos económicos due with thanks to the United States and other organizations. So now Russia is facing all these problems with, I don't know, many brands that are not available today in Russia, such as for example McDonald's, or I believe it's more like East como marcas occidentales, but also problems with their currency due that is more, se está devaluando fácil, and also for example because Russia has a lot of military army, but the problem is that it's most of their military como armamento militar is from the Soviet Union. So it's like very old. So it also like face problems with this because they only create they only like all the money they inserted on protecting and military. And for example, I'm going to say this in Spanish because it's like difficult to say. Miss, básicamente es como Rusia está como todo este implemento de lo que de ganancias y todo esto económico lo está para producir armamentos, tanques, balas, armas, etcétera. Y básicamente esto está diseñado para ser destruido, porque un tanque está diseñado para ir a la guerra y lo van a bombardear o algo. Entonces invierten tanto dinero en algo que va a ser destruido, esto les provoca como muchos problemas. And also military escalation, yeah, as I already said, Russia and Ukraine is facing many problems, a lot of wars. They also they attack in different ways. First, as we know, military action, also with drones, ballistic army, many it's escalating in a big way because it's causing like more problems and more deaths. So connection to the Cold War, okay. So basically, miss, I know that it will not be the same because, for example, Russia is not as strong as what it was the Soviet Union. But for example, I believe it could. I am truly believe that the connection to the Cold War is that they are two superpowers. Basically, what it cost is that the indirect ways that they have been attacking each of them, and for example that each of them have nuclear powers. They have been, for example, threatening, como ha habido amenazas entre ellos y más que todo entre la OTAN, hay, o sea, como entre ellos, pero que todavía no se ha admitido, sino que básicamente para sembrar terror, como lo fue en la Cold War. So, Miss, this is like the most important thing because the connection of this is the indirect ways in which they promote their nuclear powers. And yeah, Miss, thank you for listening. I hope you like the presentation. And yeah, that will be all about our topic, but in this case, what I like explained to you. Okay, Miss, thank you a lot and bye.